bringing up my second tank to support the first tank. I got the first tank on retreat, the second tank coming in with the support fire. We'll start to move my FEP on a moving position while the Leopard engages from the front. And it doesn't matter, because everything dies to a TU bomber. Like, what is this game? That's not how... Hey guys, welcome back to another game. This time we are playing what appears to be the Sawaki Gap. I'm joined in this game by my good friend N7 Shark. I've decided to do this game voiceover style, since that seems to be everyone's preferred way to watch me play. This game I'm bringing out my Marine Baltic deck, aka Meatballs. I love this deck. I think it's really great. I've gone on to refine this deck further after this game, but this iteration of the deck works pretty well too. I think a lot of the concepts are left in place. Some of the big concepts of this deck are centered around using wheeled vehicles to get places quickly, is the long and short of it. And this deck does that really well. So you've got the ACV, you've got the XA180, and you've got the Vilkas, all on wheels. So I'm able to deploy my infantry pretty rapidly in this game. And then there's a synergy on the armored side with the Leopard and the FEP that I really like. I like that the Leopard has got its 1750 vision range and APS in for what, 320 if you throw the machine gun on, and I really like that combination. I think that brings a value tank to the front that has high vision and is able to fill this sort of hunter role and gain vision on the enemy before they're able to gain vision on me. And then I've got the FEP, which has higher penetration, so it's 500 pen versus the Leo's 450. It also has 4 machine guns on it, and that comes in at 350. So between these two, the Leopard can serve as that hunter, and the FEP can come in as the killer. After identifying an opponent, it can show its front and start to lay waste to whatever's in front of it. So I'm going to start out my game here with the Vilkas with an S-off and an ACV 30 with a cat dragon and a Piron. I can't say that correctly. It's the Baltic manpad, and I like this little combo. It gets a lot of fire support to the front quickly. Anti-heli and anti-vehicle and anti-infantry all packaged into 2 units, and the S-off is a really dynamic anti-infantry squad that also has some IFV killing potential. And between those two, you're carried in on Bushmaster capable platforms. So the ACV-30's got the Bushmaster 2, the Vilkas has got the Bushmaster 2 as well, on top of 2 spikes. So in that way, I'm able to do some really great early game aggression and have some anti-tank performance between the Vilkas spikes and the cat dragon missiles, which have been buffed in the PTE, by the way. They now have a higher velocity, which has really been the downside of them. Like, the missiles traveled so slow. Like, their top speed is on par with like the Milan, but the velocity has been really their biggest downside. All right, guys, we just watched Shark get his opener kind of crushed because in this iteration of the deck, I don't have any ASF. I've been playing a lot of vanilla solo queuing where like really nobody opens with an air tax, and Shark loves to air insert. So I kind of screw up. I'm not being a good partner here. So I do go on to fix this deck. I add a couple Harriers to the deck. You'll see that in my last video, where I use the same deck with some of the changes I've put in. What else? I'm also using the Lab 25 with the Aegis for my early game recon and aggression. This is my sniper hunting deck, so I'm coming out here looking to get some early picks on any enemy recon. Look at the way he micros that helicopter. He swerves it right behind the building just as the Sidewinder comes in. It was really good play on his part. Alright, another great synergy here is the XA-180 with the Cat Dragon Saber. That XA-180 with its ability to refill 0.4 tons is really strong. Yeah, it's really strong to keep the tow missiles intact, and then the ability to transport that tow unit back to a supply point if I need it. So that's what you're going to see in this building. And just keep an eye on this unit, guys, through the match. He does incredibly well for what he's doing. All right, you see my my recon team in the front challenging the sniper. So I'm going to deny some early game recon from them with that Jaegerist team, who takes a lot of hits from I think BTRs on the right, BTR 90s. But I'll push forward my my LAV with its Bushmaster 1 to continue to put pressure on that sniper unit, try to get that knocked out, and then try to get my Jaegers out of here before he gets murdered. And I'll try to bait these BTRs into my Cat Dragon here. So I've got the Lab 25 retreating on the side. I've got this Vilkas and ACV trying to put some challenges on this BTR blob on the left. Fortunately, I do have to smoke that lab just to keep him alive, so it does kind of screw up the assault a little bit. So you can see the Bushmasters are starting to put in a little bit of work here on some units. Not great, but they're doing okay. So let's get him out of here. Oh, beautiful bombs. Beautiful bombs. This Cat Saber team is just going to continue to pepper these units with tow missiles. And this lab is still struggling to get out of the line of fire, and he unfortunately doesn't make it. But he does heal up this Jaegerist enough to salvage him. And that's my opener. And what an opener it was, guys. That was a really tense few moments. A lot went on there. I know I didn't capture half of it. A lot of APS, what are they, K-16s, K-17s on the field. You're going to see that, I think, a lot more in these games. Their ability to just keep their infantry safe is pretty powerful and a great value proposition. Let's see if I can get this Cat Dragon team out of here, try to preserve it. On the AA side, I'm using the NASMs. This game, I'm using the Sidewinders, but I've decided to move them to, what's it called? AMRAAMs. Oh no. Yeah, this Cat Dragon team is toast. Yeah, so they're gonna wipe out my opener. Tough fights, for sure. Yeah, so coming back to the NASM, I'm actually really coming around on the NASM. It's got the ability to drive around with the radar on, which is nice. It also has pretty good killing potential for its cost. It's got a what do you call it? I think it's 110 points for what, 6 Sidewinders, which is pretty good. But the reason I do end up going to the AMRAAMs is the high altitude performance. So the AMRAAMs have 1850 high altitude before radar, and what that allows me to do is to punish some of these bombers on the front line, because I'm gonna be honest here, guys, I've been trying this Iris out and it is just so underperforming. You need to be so close to the front line. I'd rather just use the NASMs to do more frontline stuff, in a multi-role capacity and save the Iris. Maybe move back to the Pack 2. I don't know yet. The Iris, what the Iris has over the Pack 2 is terminal guidance. Why is that important? Well, in an urban setting, when you lose vision because of all these buildings, your semi-active Pack 2 more often than not hits absolutely nothing. Yes, it's got great range, but if you're not hitting anything, what's the point? At least with the terminal guidance, you have the ability to punish a bomber. So that's my logic here. Alright, so I'll start to rebuild my front line. I'm going to try to help light green here get back into the fight on Bravo with my S-Soft and Vilkas. By the way, some of the guys we're playing with are really, really, really good at the game. this is a high elo equivalent game for sure. This is the PTE, so no one's elo is really reflective of their vanilla elo, but you can just gather that some people are. Like, I've got someone on my team who's like 3100 elo on the vanilla, so he's pulled us into a total elo nightmare here in this game, and Shark and I are just fighting for our lives. In fact, Shark is having one hell of a time on the right flank right now, and I'm even struggling to really build some traction here on Bravo. And I lost all my recon pretty much in the in between Bravo Charlie area, so I'll need to rebuild that. And but my priority right now is let's get back on Bravo, right? So I'm gonna bring in here some Marine Raiders just to give me some anti-tank capability. I'll bring in the S-Soft to give me some anti-infantry capability, and I got a couple tanks that are going to give me some multi-role capabilities. So this is my rebuild strategy. Let's see how that works out. I don't know the vision that my opponent has, so I'm being very careful not to overexpose my tank positions. I'm making very small movements to just try to stay under the radar, because again, you can't stop bombers in this game because for some unknown reason the devs decided to nerf long-range AA vision and range to what effect? I don't really know. At this point, what we're seeing is every bomber is essentially the equivalent of like the U.S.'s stealth bombers, where that was really the value proposition for a U.S. stealth bomber. You can get the bombs off, right? But now everybody can get the bombs off. So what is the value of a stealth bomber? There really isn't any. So everyone's bringing these dumb, these kind of cheap, dumb bombers, and it's incredibly punishing. In fact, it's in some of the pricing for like the TU, for example, it doesn't make a lot of sense, right? The TU can drop just an insane amount of ordnance. Oh, I got that toe kill, nice. The TU can drop an insane amount of ordnance for so cheap, has afterburner, and it's incredibly punishing. Like, it can drop, I think, like 1500 kg bombs, which are, by the way, in poundage, is like a 3,000 pound bomb. So it's really strong. Yeah, these K-16s are really challenging. Here comes a bomber. Two bombers. I guess they don't like what we're doing. Oh, it's a TU. Take a look at this. Wipes out the entire front line. Both my tanks dead. They single shot tanks. No laser. Make it make sense. I really don't get it. These units aren't priced properly at all, and the performance is just way outperforming what it ought to be able to do. There's another massive drop. Now we've got Seed coming in. So again, once again, my units have been wiped out. Sucks. It is what it is. I'm gonna get a F-35 in here to try to punish some backline targets, and I'll get an artillery piece and I think an AA piece. I'll lose the fighter though. Alright, starting to rebuild my recon capabilities here on the front line with my Jaegerus and Lab 25 combo. I'll eventually get out some like long, like good range vision units like the KNT or snipers. I'll start to get those out later in the game. At this point, like that whole area is just technically hostile to me, right? I don't have any vision, so for me it doesn't benefit me to just throw a sniper in there, right? I need to systematically and methodically move through there. Here comes that counter attack after the TU bombing on Bravo. We're able to kind of mop this up a bit. Able to just dodge that cornet. My Vilkas doing Vilkas things. He's trying to keep up a Bushmaster on the front line to keep providing fire support. I've got a PZH 2000 in the back to provide some fire support. This Vilkas is going to fire off some spikes, which are going to put a little bit of pain on this spread. But it doesn't matter because another TU comes through and wipes everything. It's got 2 availability, by the way. 2 availability. There are no other strategic bombers on the US side, but 2 availability. So, just very frustrating. I'm going to try to support Charlie, this little Charlie push. I see some juicy units there, so I'll throw some rounds on it. I should have called out a second PCH, but I did not. Run out of tow missiles, even with the resupply in there, so you know that they were doing something, even if we weren't blocking everything that they did. And yeah, once again, his little battle bus is going to get him healed back up. I'll queue up a heal, reposition back to the tower, and get him put back in. My Jaeger's in that tower, that front tower, I don't have on hold fire. That's a mistake. I should have had that on hold fire. So he did engage a little bit with that Charlie stack. My teammate is really struggling on Bravo. I'm trying to get in there, but it's a tough fight. It's a tough fight. I'm using the lab's vision to kind of clear out any recon that might have come up or just get eyes on things. Got my tanks getting in there. And at this point in the game, they've got a pretty good advantage on us. 4-point lead. They got most of the points still, so they're still going to continue to beat us in conquest points unless we do something. Here comes the, what is that, the SU something. Again, just more dumb bombers. I got an Iris there that can't see anything. It's like blind. Or at least it can't kill anything because the vision isn't far enough. What I need to do, this is my lesson of this game, right? I need to get a loiter ASF up, and I do eventually fix that. I have a loitering ASF in my revisions to this deck, and that will be a Harrier, actually, which doesn't make any sense. But the Harrier is actually really solid because it's so cheap. All right, we get the sniper, which is great. Snipers have 2 availabilities, so getting those out of the fight really strong. My tow's gonna punish that sprut. My lab's gonna win the fight with the BTR, and so far, job done. That little stack there killed a BTR and the sniper, denied recon, and with some fire support from the tow, is able to continue, fighting to the end. So really good. trying to get this NASM to kill this helicopter. I don't realize at this point in the game that the NASM can move with the radar on. That's my mistake. I should have pushed it up a little bit. Try to get a kill. Here I do finally take my shot. Like, okay, let's see if I can get this thing. The Iris does run out of its 4 missiles, so it's trying to do something. It's probably punishing something, or doing cruise missile defense, or whatever, wasting all of its rounds on seed. I don't know. The Iris is not... I'm not loving the Iris right now. MiG-29 just getting away with murder. The Cat's got the machine gun, but it's not going to be enough to deal with 4 rocket launchers, or grenade launchers, so I need to get him out of there. And that, oh, my Purion and the NASM are going to challenge Deal Hotnick. Come on, Purion, get this kill. Let's go. So there you go. I actually really like the anti-helicopter performance on Baltic. I think it's pretty good. But don't worry, I'm sure that'll get fixed with another TU bomber here in a minute. I will say the one good thing about the PTE is the reduction in availability, at least for the TU, seems to be keeping it at bay. But honestly, man, these SU-27s coming in, SU-34s, SU-25s, like, there's so many options that... Oh, there you go, see? One shot to my tank. Like, what is that? It has no laser designation. Why does Russia have the ability to dumb bomb a tank at high altitude? The US has no equivalent, unless you count the Moab, which no one will feasibly use because it's really not that good. Alright, so my teammate here is going to start his Bravo push. I'm going to start pushing my units up through the middle here and just try to take control of the space. I've got my PZH basically on supply hunting duty at this point, so it's popping supplies anywhere it sees them. Here I've decided to pull K&T up and start putting him into those towers on the right to gain visibility. My Vilkas is expending its spikes on Bravo targets. Oh, beautiful strike. Keep up my harassment campaign with my 1 PZH. I should have called a second out. I almost did right here. I don't know why I chose not to. Alright, I'm going to dive back in with my Lav and Jaeger's combo. Try to get more recon units murdered, I guess. Alright, so I have confirmed there's no sniper in those towers up there, which is good. We got a HE grad. I don't know why anyone calls an HE grad in. Maybe just to saturate an area and try to blow up supplies. That'd be my guess. Catfade going off. I'll start pushing up my recon, seeing what I can see. My lab's going to get into a bad engagement against a couple BTR-90s. My tow team is going to start putting in work on those BTR-90s. That trophy's got is in a great position. Well, he was, until I remembered everything Russia has can one-shot my tank, so let me get him out of there, I guess. I do finally get a cafe up into the fight. So, I mean, really, this little Bravo push is starting to pay off. He's got another sniper trying to get into a building. Alright, I got my armor out. I'll get my infantry into this fight. See the guardsmen of Strelki, which were definitely deployed to kill that armor that I had sitting there. Trying to get a good cafe position, right? Most of their units are centered up in the upper right, so I'm not quite in position to deal with that, but let's see if that works. Alright, I've got a Marine Force Recon CQC here, so I can have just a little bit of generalist infantry stack. I'm not going to call in the small because they're not really deploying a lot of they're not deploying a lot of tanks at this point, so I'm thinking the CQC unit's probably a better and cheaper solution right now. Yeah, so I'm able to clean that up with the CQC. I'm able to clean this guy up with some CQC. These guardsmen of Strelki have got machine guns now, so they're a legitimate threat. Just a little bit of micro to keep these guys alive. No reason to throw points away. I've done nothing on this right side. I got a little distracted by that. I get a little too into the micro sometimes. Probably need to rethink that. This cafe actually ends up being, I think, in a perfect spot. Alright, so we're able to bully them off the point a little bit there. PZH back on sniping duties. That's great vision. I don't know what's giving us that vision, but it's great. Oh, this sniper in the tower, that's what's doing it. Speaking of snipers, I forgot my KNT. So I'll get him back into the fight. See the Terminator, so I want to get my FEP up there to help fight that Terminator. I lose my first recon and my AAVP. Look at this. Look at the saturation from this grads. That's wild. Oh, I lose a Vilkas to it. I guess that is the power of the grad. Oh, look at this J fight. Not doing a good job of calling my units in. Get my dragon manpad brought back out. I cannot figure out where to put this Iris. Somehow my KNT gets spotted. Ooh, perfect cafe on the left here in that Morskaya. Beautiful strike. We'll get up some more infantry. Time to bomb more supplies. Got a counterattack coming back on Bravo. Alright, having that Iris deployed up front, definitely much more helpful. Oh, this is a perfect cafe. I get distracted trying to figure out where to put this F-35. My FEP's getting engaged.
Joint strike fighter at your command, sir.
I want to kill that. I want to kill that Katrin, right? So I'll try to kill this long range AA. I get that off. It was a bit of an ambitious strike. Bravo's getting challenged again. Luckily he's able to sneak some units on. I was way too slow in calling my units in, so we're kind of getting punished for that. At least my S-off is able to get a kill. Cat team's getting melted there. I should have pulled him back. The Cat Dragon team. Oh, huge hit from the Tow team. Great 1-2 punch with the tank. Get up another F-35. Get ready to do some strikes. I see this Armada here. Seems like a pretty good target for an F-35. Get the laser on it. 2 1,000-pound JDAMs ought to do the job. And, oh wow, my plane gets out. Doesn't seem like my plane's getting out a lot these days. Oof, that was a bad call. I thought I was just going to be taking out that Morskaya Recon Rozvedka. Let's get a flank going on these infantry hidden back here. Oof. We almost lost a Leopard. N7's having a really bad time on the right flank. And to be fair, I mean, it didn't look great, but we did. I think we all kind of chimed in. We're like, dude, just hold on. We can do this. Alright, we've got eyes on that sniper up there, so that's good. I'll start to send my little infantry stack up there to continue to clear that out. Get my leopard up here to deal with this T-80. Oof, that sprut missed. And then he does not have a lot of pen on the Drost. I think that was a Drost. Oh, almost got both those tanks. That would have been huge. Bringing up my second tank to support the first tank. I got the first tank on retreat. The second tank coming in with the support fire. We'll start to move my FEP on a moving position while the Leopard engages from the front. And it doesn't matter because everything dies to a TU bomber. Like, what is this game? That's not how... incredibly frustrating to watch. One TU can come in and wipe out an entire point all by itself. It might as well be a nuke. Except it's better than the nuke because it actually gets off its payload. Anyway, we are winning. We've taken this whole middle ground. We've got Bravo. We've got forward progress here on the left on Juliet. The only thing we don't have is the far right flank, which N7 has smartly surrendered and is starting to make progress in other areas. Right, because at a certain point, you're just throwing points away. So I think he made the right decision to reposition here. We've got another Armada over here. Let's see if we can use... I've got 8 rock guys here on this Hornet, so let's see if we can take out this Armada. Oh, man. It was like... I just misjudged, I think, a little bit on that. I could have gotten it. I just missed. It'd be great if one of those tanks could come in and just get a rear shot on that Armada. That would really make my day. Oh, and they do. Let's go. Okay, yeah, we've got these guys pretty well bullied off the point at this point. Every single Iris missile veered weirdly away. Just gonna say that. Like, what? Why? coming up on last call for units. If you watched N7's video on unit call-in times, I don't remember exactly what the call-in time is, but I have like 7 minutes left in the round. So he did kind of make a call out here in the game, like, hey, get your units in. This is about to be one of the last times you can do it. I think I forgot my NASM was sitting there in the woods to challenge that MI-28. Oof. I mean, taking a commanding lead here. Trying to use the Vilkas to refill the Marines. I did a little bit. Very close to having a substantial kill advantage. Ooh, I managed to pop that supply before the T-80 can heal on it. Oh, and I get a top attack on it, nearly. I don't know if you noticed that, but the K&T just lost to a sniper. So that sniper unit is like way too strong. It's like way overperforming. What is it, the Diversanti? Because it's got that cord. It does like a ridiculous amount of damage. Not really sure what the rationale is there. There we go. My Hyperion's gonna get that MI-28. I'm still trying to find an F-35B target here. These Spruts are looking interesting, but actually so are these two helicopters. So I'll throw 2 JDAMs that way and put a laser on them. See if we get away with murder. And I would have if they hadn't surrendered. But that's it, guys. That's the game. Huge, huge comeback. What a game. That was really, really tough. F-35B doing F-35B things. The Vilkas is performing. Not always getting trades, but it's doing its job. The Lav is doing its job. Um, PZH popping supplies. I should have called in too. That would have been the move. Purian getting its helicopter kills. Uh, yeah. Force Recon going up there, getting a few infantry stacks. K&T does get a beta base snipery. Maybe he did win that engagement. Iris does get a couple punishes on SU-34s. What else? What Avilkas getting a couple BTRs. And he was one on the point. I just kept moving him back and forth. The Cat 2 Saber team, look at that. Just sitting back there, getting picks left and right. Love it. F-35s getting the Armada. And you gotta pick your battles here. Again, Force Recon performing really well. Diversanti, SSO, and Morskaya. Although they were all super low. I remember that engagement. Look at this FEP trophy. Yeah, he did his job. Let's go. The Leopard getting a kill. Anything that the tanks can do is bonus, considering what they were throwing at us from the air. S-Soft playing its multi-role. Yeah, see this TU-22s, those SU-30s. I mean, insane. Insane bombs on these TUs and SUs. They gotta address that, right? Like the bomb disparity. It makes no sense, right? So anyway, yeah, pretty good game, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun to play. Felt very sweaty, but very satisfying. Hey guys, welcome back to another deck talk. This time we're looking at meatballs once again. I did a really in-depth deep dive into this deck in my previous video, so if you'd like that, please take a look at that video. But yeah, I'll just give you the highlights here. The main story of this deck is, again, speedy infantry insertions. So S-Soft and the Vilkas, uh, um, Cat Dragons and Purians for fire support in the ACV 30s, and Cat Saber in the XA 180s. And then everything's got the Vilkas and the ACV 30 have got the Bushmaster for some creative plays and fire support options. And then you've got, of course, the AAVP to bring in like your Marines, your small, your Force Recon, things like that. And then on the infantry recon side, you've got the LAV, which I like to pair with the Jaegerist to challenge and clear areas of snipers and other recon units. Moving to the vehicle tab, you've got the Leopard and the FEP. I love these two tanks. I think they're great. They make a great pairing. One can see the opponent and start the engagement, while the other comes in and gets the kills with the higher penetration and the 4 machine guns versus the 450 pen here and the 2 machine guns. But this does have an HE round, so that's a little bit better, I suppose. What else? Support, you've got the NASMs, which I have updated to the AMRAMs now for 130, and the Iris with its measly 2,200 range is still a questionable member of this deck. Maybe it gets replaced by the Pack 2. I'm not sure yet. PZH is my favorite artillery right now in the PTE. It's just so strong. They do need to fix, though, the barrage size. 3 is not enough. It's got this really fast reload time, so you could realistically get off 5 or 6 salvos before you need to reposition. So I really think they should revisit this. Maybe a 2, 4, 6 salvo length would be my preference. Got a smoke mortar here. I like the smoke mortar over, say, like the Lav M, because it's got the 16 HP. It's got actual HE protection against counter mortars, and it's still got all the great smoky things. Helicopter tab, very weak helicopters. They're good situationally for sure. Like, don't get me wrong, I love a good Hellfire, but I don't love the cost for being one-shottable. And then in the air, I've got the F-35B with the 1,000-pound JDAMs, which are my favorite bombers. And then I've got these two new additions, which you don't see in the video. The Night Attack in its close air support configuration has two Mavericks, the Gao, which I think is enough actually. You rarely get, you could get four Mavericks off, sure, but they usually smoke. So for 165, if I'm getting a lucky shot in, and this Gao can actually kill all on its own, I'm happy with that. And on the Harrier side, this is now my ASF. I can call two of them in for 360, which is like equivalent to a single Hornet. But then I've got 8 AMRAMs total with ECM and fuel tanks. So really, this could be the answer to my Iris problem, right? I can just loiter these with the higher fuel and just sling AMRAMs around that way. So that's gonna be a learning for me to remember to call that in as ASF. But yeah, that's the deck, guys. Hope you like it. If you do, consider leaving a like and a subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video. With that, I will catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.